Tova, dun 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 dun. Shana Tova, dun 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 dun, banana, 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 Shana Tova, dun 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 dun. Shana Tova, dun 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 dun. Shana Tova, do 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 do.
We don't need these, do we? Have you got the full documents that you require tonight? Is that what these are?
Those are.
They're over there? Okay, great. Great. Oh, you seem refreshed, thank God. I'm so pleased. Good. Yep, we got the full ones there. That's great. We're on the regular old sound system, Sarah. How odd. Think of it. Well, the hallway was pretty great. I had forgotten about that, and suddenly there was a dozen people in the hallway with lots of good things to do. Shana Tova, Sarah.
Shana Tova, Rabbi Stephen.
Shana Tova, everyone. Thanks for joining us over the video. I believe, but actually believe, because I just saw folks in the hallway, the virtual hallway, that there are virtual attendees tonight. I tell you, it was the saddest thing to come and see the parking lot so totally empty and be the only car in the lower lot. Normally it's a question of, will there be a space for me, right? But thank you so much for joining us from home. This is going to be a very special year, a very memorable year. You'll probably be talking about this for years. So thanks for joining in and coming to us with the davening. If you have your machzor at home, we're on page 2, right at the beginning of the Lev Shalem machzor. Shalom shalom lerachok v'lakarov, amar Adonai. Peace. Peace to those who are far away, and peace to those who are near, says Adonai. If you'll look just down one paragraph, to seek renewal on the left side. On this night, O God, we've come into your house to pray in this your sanctuary. But if the heavens are merely your throne, if the earth is but your footstool, if the heaven of heavens cannot contain you, how much less this house, built by human hands? Yet although your dwelling place is every place, and although you can be sought and found in any place, it is to this place that we come now confidently to seek renewal in your purifying presence.
Open my eyes to truth, open my hands to give freely. Open my lips to good words, to pure words, open my heart to love. Open my eyes to truth, open my hands to give freely. Open my lips to good words, to pure words, open my heart to love. Open my eyes to truth, open my hands to give freely. Open my lips to good words, to pure words, open my heart to love.
It's beautiful, Sarah. We'll be hearing that song open throughout the holidays. Would you turn with us, please, to page 4? This is the only psalm from Kabbalat Shabbat that makes it on Yom Tov. We need to get people to dinners eventually. So we sing a song for Shabbat on page 4.
Tov lehodot l'Adonai, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulizamer, ulizamer, l'shimcha elyon, Tov lehodot l'Adonai, lehagid baboker chastecha, lehagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunacha baleilot, ve'emunacha baleilot, tov lehodot l'Adonai.
This Speak of your love each morning, of your faithfulness at night.
Please join us at the carrot. Tzadika tamar yifrach, ke'erez balvanon yiskei shetulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuvun beseiva deshenim verananim yehu lehagid ki yashar Adonai tzuri velo avlatabo.
As we come to where there would be a Kaddish, I want to recall those yard sites that we're remembering ending this week. At Temple Bethel this week, we recall the following yard sites: Gusta Anselovich, Bella Axel, Isidore Banks, Sam Berman, Mabel Bloomston, Rose Blumenfeld, William Bombshell. Anna Buchalter, Tilly Kales, Justin Cohen, Tessie Cohen, Albert Cohn, Leonard Damsky, Ethel Feigelson, Ida Finkelstein, Anne Freed, Richard Friedman, Bessie Froman, Melanie Gershon, Charles Goldman, Jack Goldstein, Yosef Gulubov, Rose Green, Paula Grossman, Jenny Grusin, Dorothy Hahn, Harry Hervick, Anna Jokel, Esther Joseph, Saul Landy, Maxine Lapidus, Max Levy, Edward Lurie, Jackie Medden, Evelyn Padower, Israel Padower, Alva Shevin Permit, Bertha Plotka, Beatrice Politz, Margaret Rice, Alan Rice, Minnie Robbins, Stuart Rosen, Pauline Rosenberg, Fanny Rutsky, Paul Rutsky, Julius Udall Schuster, Israel Schall, Ida Sugarman, Walter Siegler, Joseph Sikora, Sophie Krantz Tarr, Janice Taubman, Rose Wander, Julian Weinstein, Sheila Wright, Mabel Zahler, Rose Zeft, and B. Ziff. And if you have it, we can find Psalm 23 on page 233 of our Shabbat Siddur. We'll do the English. Psalm of David. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want. God makes me to lay down in green pastures, leading me beside still waters, renewing my life. He guides me in right paths, for that is God's way. Were I to walk through a valley as dark as death, I would fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You spread a table before me in full view of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Only goodness and steadfast love shall pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai in the fullness of time. Turn to page 5. We have a song here in lieu of Baruchu. Baruchu is one of the many things we do with Minyan, and Sarah has a beautiful way of capturing its spirit.
Come, come, whoever you are, come, come. 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 Wanderer, worshiper, lover of healing, it doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Just come, come, whoever you are, come, come. 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 Come, even if you have broken your vow 1,000 times. Come, even if you've been waiting for a miracle to come. Just come, come, whoever you are, come, come. 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 Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzivot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam ba'ed, Baruch ata Adonai, hama'ariv haravim.
Amen. Page 6. Beautiful to hear those tunes again, isn't it?
Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, ve'ahavacha tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch ata Adonai, ohev amor Yisrael.
El Melech Ne'eman.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'shachbecha u'kumecha u'shartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'einenecha u'tavtam hamezuzot beitecha u'visharecha.
Shemayim ala haaretz, as the days of heaven upon the earth.
L'man tizkeru v'asitem ekol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim l'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem l'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. We continue at the center of page 8. Umalchuto beratzon kiblu aleihem Moshe uMiriam u'bnei Yisrael lechanu shira b'simcha rabba ve'amru chulam mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh Nora tehilot osef elei Malchutecha ra'uvanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe ze lianu ve'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov ugalo me'at chazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai gal Yisrael.
Amen. Page 9. Will you join me in responsibly reading the English side? Allow us, Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully and to waken again to life, our sovereign.
Spread over us your canopy of peace, restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name.
Shield us, remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us.
Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you, God, watch over and deliver us, and you are the sovereign, merciful, and compassionate.
Ensure our going and our coming for life and peace now and forever.
May you spread over us your canopy of peace.
Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us and over all the people of Israel and over Jerusalem.
Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'akol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
Amen. If you're able, please rise at the bottom of page 9.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Lasod et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Lasod et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Beshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Lasod et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Lasod et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Top of page 10, not only is it Shabbos, it is Yom Tov, on which we blow the shofar, unless it's Shabbos. So this year, another weirdness, we won't have shofar till not tomorrow, but the day after. Tikeu v'chodesh shofar, b'keseh leyom chagenu, ki chok l'Yisrael, Mishpat lelohei Yaakov. We will not be doing Kaddises throughout these services as it's Sarah and I here, but instead turn with us to the Amidah on page 11. Page 11 is where we'll be throughout most of it because it's the private Amidah, the individual Amidah. I prefer that term, the individual or the private Amidah, as opposed to the silent Amidah. Did you know that the Amidah should not actually be silent? You should be able to hear your own words as you pray, but you want it to be quiet enough that your neighbor doesn't hear it. Well, your neighbors are really far away, so if you say it out loud this year as you're following along with us, that is encouraged so that you can feel the environment giving you back also these blessings. So please consider doing that throughout. We're on page 11 as we come to the Amidah. Open my eyes to truth, open my hands to give freely, open my lips to good words, to pure words, open my heart to love. Adonai svatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Open my lips to good words, to pure words, open my heart to love. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Ki atahu melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam.
Turn to page 18 for Vaychulu Hashemayim. We're not going to do all of Magen Avot there, but we do want to get this phrase. And I'm going to find a Torah while you sing it. Page 18.
ויכולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
Yeah, it doesn't really come to an end, does it? Sarah's like, where's the rest? It sounds unresolved. I want to give a thought to you before we go ahead and hear Kiddush over on page 24. Sarah, if you're looking for it. Just a thought with you at the beginning of the year as we start out together. Parashat Nitzavim that we just read, I believe really frames what it is that we're about to do here on these days of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Tonight is the beginning of the 10 days of awe, and I can't think of any better framing for it than the following words. You can find them in your own Red Eitz Chaim on page 1165. We read there, Moses says, "All of you stand this day here before the Lord your God. Your tribal leaders, your elders, your officials, all the men of Israel, the children, the women, the stranger within the camp, everyone from the wood chopper to the water drawer, in order to enter into the covenant of Adonai your God, which the Lord your God is confirming with you by oath this day, to the end that he may establish you this day as his people and to be your God, as he promised you and as he swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I make this covenant with you this day, and not with you alone, but with those of you who are standing with us here today before the Lord your God, and those who are not here with us this day." The traditional midrash on that verse emphasizes the not. Like, honestly, who wasn't there? This was Moses' last speech. This was sort of the last lecture that he had to give. And it emphasizes that, well, yes, kind of like at Sinai, everyone came to hear the delivering of the original Devarim. What it was referring to was those who are not here, who are not present because they're in future generations. That the covenant was an intergenerational covenant binding, yes, those who are here and also those who would come after them, their children, grandchildren, and on down the generations right to ourselves. We too were entering into the covenant then. But this year it feels much more viscerally true, and also with those of you who are not here today. To look at these empty pews here, which are normally filled with people, and the hallways with chatter, reminds us of how the covenant endures with you who are here and those of you who are not. And it's one of the beautiful things about the covenant is that it's not really up to us. I'll talk a lot about kavanah throughout these days. Kavanah is crucial, right? The meaning of the heart as we approach these words. But the covenant transcends kavanah. The covenant embraces us when we have an intention to be a part of it or not. Rosh Hashanah comes and begins the new year. Yom Kippur comes and brings atonement and allows us release from the past year. And actually the Talmud specifically says about Yom Kippur, Hayom mechaper, the day itself brings atonement. Yes, they emphasize on that same page and the adjacent pages that you must do repentance, that the person must be involved, but the day itself atones. And this year, I think that's a profound reassurance, right? Whatever the flaws in our observance this year, right? Not together with family, not together with the whole community, not perhaps able to muster the concentration to say every word. Though if you stick with Sarah and I, you'll hear every word tomorrow, beginning at 11:15, and be able to pray every piece of it, right? Or some people stuck at home and not able to hear shofar in person, right? You'll be able to hear the shofar here, but you might feel there's something imperfect about it. Nonetheless, the covenant binds us together across these generations. As we come to Rosh Hashanah, we also think about what it is to be at the conclusion of this year, of 5780. Oy, this past year, man. What can you say? Tashaf, right? Tafshin Pei, 5780. It started out pretty well. I was talking to a friend and he was like, I kind of feel like, hey, could we get a do-over? What's incredible, and the holidays offer this to us year after year, is in fact, yes, the chance to do a do-over. But I was talking to a friend who's on the West Coast, and he was just coming home just a few minutes, just a few hours ago, and he said, you know what I'm really excited about is not sleeping on the floor of my friend's house anymore. They'd been there for 12 days to escape the smoke from the fires in their region because it wasn't safe to be right where they lived, but they were coming home. And they have just one room that isn't smoke-filled. They have an air purifier up there, right? So they're going to enjoy their Rosh Hashanah in that room this year. And he sort of reached out and he said, as if everything wasn't already topsy-turvy enough, the shofar this year reminds me of it, right? In terms of taking away every sense of what feels normal. You think Rosh Hashanah, you think shofar. But guess what? This year Rosh Hashanah is on Shabbos, so we're not going to hear shofar on the first day. We're going to hear it on the second day. Now that's normal. That would happen during any year, with or without a pandemic, with or without 2020. But he was saying that's so emblematic of what it is that we have this year, right? It's no big deal. It's kind of like the rest of the year. We'll do something a little different. All that reminds me of a story that the Talmud tells. Not sure, but it could be in Masechet Avodah Zarah. It says, once there was a man who had the ill fortune of being chased by a lion. But he struggled with the lion, and he got away, and somehow he survived. And so he started to tell everyone this story. He says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu saved me. By the way, that's not just a mythical story from the Talmud. This happened in 2018. A man in Colorado was attacked by a mountain lion. And he wrestled it and survived. I just watched the clip. It's kind of wild. He has the scars to show it. And so he says, this changed my life. And he would tell this story again and again to anyone who would listen. Until he ran into a cheetah. And the cheetah ran after him, and the cheetah was much faster than the lion. And somehow he managed to avoid that too, because the cheetah got distracted and said, easier pickings, I'll go eat a zebra. And so he told that story. He would tell anyone who would listen, HaKadosh Baruch Hu saved me from the cheetah. And he never talked about the lion anymore. He would just tell the cheetah story. And he was safe and lived well for a long time. And then one day he was davening, and he heard a little rattle down by his ankle. And he turned and he looked, and it was a venomous snake. And he froze immediately. He was just quiet. He didn't say a word more. And it just slithered away eventually after some time. And he would go and tell friends. He would say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu saved me from the snake. It's the most dangerous thing that's ever happened in my life. And he would tell his story and tell it again. And he never mentioned the lion or the cheetah after that. And one day, many years later, along came a flood. And it washed away nearly everything. He was standing on the roof of his house, and he was hoping for help. And And in fact, someone came and rescued him from off the roof of his house, and he was safe. And he would go around telling people, you wouldn't believe it. One day there was a flood that came, and it washed everything away. And I was on the roof of my house just waiting, and someone came along and saved me. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has looked after me. And he never mentioned the lion or the cheetah or the snake again. And it just feels so 2020, this story. It feels like, well, first there was a worldwide pandemic and we closed everything down. And then there was joblessness everywhere. And then we couldn't celebrate Pesach. And as we came to the high holidays, we feared there would be no high holidays. And there was financial insecurity everywhere for everyone, rich and poor alike. And then there were the fires on the West Coast. And then in Alabama and along the Gulf Coast, there were the hurricanes. And I want us to look back and notice all that, in this case, crammed into half a year. And remember the lion and the cheetah and the snake and the flood. Remember each of the things that have gone ill. And in this case, just like our man, be thankful. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has saved us this far, and we owe him an extraordinary debt of gratitude. Rosh Hashanah is also called Yom HaZikaron, a day of remembering. And while God will remember us for the covenant, let's remember God for the many blessings that we have just to stand here and be alive. The greatest gift is the gift of time and of life, of consciousness, of love and joy. The end of Parashat Nitzavim really brings it home. And I want us to leave us with these words. Moses says there, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day. I have placed before you life and death, blessing and curse. So choose the life if you and your offspring would live. Love the Lord your God. Listen to his commands. Cleave, hold fast to him. Because in this way you shall live, and live long upon the land that the Lord your God swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to give to them. This year, the choice between life and death feels very real, feels very palpable. This year, choose life. Choose to cling to the thing that gives life all of its meaning, which is the one who gives us this covenant and who is blessing us so far to this day, for which we have so much to give thanks for, that we have been spared these things and that we still have our community and each other, and to be able to stand here and pray again for a year of life. Hashanah Tova Umetuka, a good, sweet year. Thank you so much for joining with us in davening tonight. If you'll turn over to page 24 for a little Kiddush. Please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher becharbanu mikol am, romamanu mikol lashon, v'kidishtanu b'mitzvotav, v'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava, et yom hashabat hazeh, ve'et yom hazikaron hazeh, yom zikaron teruah, be'ahava mikra kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'charta, ve'otanu kidiyashta mikol ha'amim, udvarcha emet v'kayam la'ad. Baruch atah Adonai, melech al kol haaretz, mekadesh Yisrael. Melech al kol haaretz, mekadesh Yisrael. Melech al kol haaretz, mekadesh hashabat v'Yisrael, v'yom hazikaron.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Good Shabbos, good Yom Tov. Please rise, page 25 for the Aleinu, a Rosh Hashanah prayer.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol.
Lo tekidu la leotzer breishit, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שיונות השמיים ויוסד הארץ. לתקן עולם במלכות שדי, להפנות אליך כל רישי הארץ.
כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד. If you are remembering the yahrzeit of a loved one, we read their names earlier at the beginning. If you'll please rise, and if you have your Shabbat Siddur, page 233, Psalm 23. Please rise in their honor. A psalm of David. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want. God lays me down in green pastures, leads me to still waters, renewing my life. He guides me in right paths, for that is God's way. Were I to walk through a valley as dark as death, I would fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod, your staff, they comfort me. You spread a table for me in full view of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Only goodness and steadfast love will pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai in the fullness of time. May the memories be for a blessing. If you turn with me to Psalm 27 on page 27, that's cool. We'll read the first and last paragraph in English together. Le David, a psalm of David. Adonai is my light and my help. Whom shall I fear? Adonai is the stronghold of my life. Whom shall I dread? When evil people assail me to devour my flesh, it is they, my enemies, those who besiege me, who stumble and fall. Though an armed camp be arrayed against me, my heart would show no fear. Should they wage war against me, of this I will be sure. Just one thing I ask of Adonai, this I seek, to dwell in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, and to behold God's beauty and visit in his sanctuary. If only I could trust that I would see God's goodness in the land of the living. Oh, place your hope in Adonai. Be strong, take courage, and place your hope in Adonai. Lo lehemanti lirot betov Adonai be'eretz chaim, ka'avei el Adonai chazek ve'yamet libecha, ve'kavei el Adonai. Sarah, before Yigdal, if I could just squeak in a few announcements.
Sure.
Unless you want to do them.
I'll allow.
You're very engaging.
Sure.
Okay.
Lay
Great.
it on me. Announcements. Thank you for joining us virtually and in person for our high holiday services this year. We're thanking you in advance for, We have a tremendous amount happening this weekend, all of which you can access through the TBE website. All the links and programs are there in one place on our congregational calendar. We've been focusing a lot on the botanical gardens this weekend, but don't forget about Tashlich. On the second day of Rosh Hashanah, families and children of all ages are invited to join us for a special Tashlich service at Avondale Park at 5 p.m. Bring bread to scatter. We'll be sending out a Rosh Hashanah survey Sunday evening, so please check your emails and help us out with feedback. It is integral to the planning process. Owning lulav and etrogs during Sukkot is a mitzvah like no other. It's important that families own their own set and use it the entire 8 days of Sukkot. You can order a pre-assembled set through the TBE website for $50. The deadline to order is 3 p.m. September 29th. Sets will be available for pickup at the synagogue one day only, October 2nd, between 9 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. Rabbi Stephen's Beit Midrash class will be canceled on October 1st, so please update your calendars accordingly. Our engagement and collaboration coordinator, Margaret Norman, will be hosting a virtual workshop on kashrut, barbecue, and what food reveals about life, both in Israel and the American South, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday, October 7th. This workshop will feature a discussion on Margaret's podcast, Going Whole Hog in Israel, a vegan barbecue cooking demo, and time to ask questions and get to know Margaret. Participants are invited to cook along. Definitely mark your calendars. This should be a fun and informative program. You can register online by visiting the congregational calendar page of our shul's website.
That's great. I just want to give you a bit of a taste of what you can expect tomorrow. When you come to the Botanical Gardens, you will you'll come into the middle and then go right, and we'll be going up around the Camellia Gardens, which is where the Torah reading is. You'll have already passed Shacharit, and then down past Sarah with the Musaf sort of elements, and then an open ark and Kaddish and a goodbye with myself. So you're going to come in and turn right. It'll be flagged and very easy to see. There are these terrific swag bags with our new logo on them that are also going to be offered to people, and some things to eat, some sweet things and otherwise for a sweet new year. So please come and get them and participate in the walk. While you're there, however, please do remain masked and 6 feet apart from other people. We've staggered all the entrances so that there shouldn't ever be overwhelmed by too many people. We look forward to having you. Despite what you might want to do, please don't run up to people and shake their hand and cover them in kisses and so on, but keep your distance. We believe we can do this totally safely, so if you're on the fence, please do turn out. We're looking forward to seeing you. I just want to remind people of the order for the blessing of the special fruits that they might be doing, right? So tonight you want to say the blessing over Yom Tov, Tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov. It's a little different. And then you say Shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Just remember that today, though it is a Yom Tov, is not a day for cooking because it's also Shabbos. But tomorrow you can do some cooking if you are able to transfer flame from a pre-existing flame. When you come to making your blessings over fruit, I want to remind you to say Borei Pri Ha'etz, the fruit, the apple that and then Shetechadesh Aleinu Shana Tova Umetuka. So those are some of just the little things that you might have been wondering, and now you have a reminder. We look forward to seeing people, and it was also a pleasure to see a bunch of people we won't see tomorrow who came driving through to pick up that cool swag that we've got. We conclude with Yigdal, page 28.
יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח, נמצא והנה תל מציאותו, אחד ואין יחיד כייחודו, נעלם וגם אין סוף לאחדותו, אין לו דמות הגוף ואינו גוף, לא נערוך אליו קדושתו, קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא, רשות ואין ראשית לראשיתו. הינו אדון עולם וכל נוצר, יורה גדולתו ומלכותו, שפע נבואתו נתנו אל אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו. לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד, נביא ומביט את אמונתו, תורת אמת נתן לאמואל, על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו, לא יכול לפעל ולא ימיר דעתו, לעולמים לזולתו, צופה ויודע סתרנו, מביט לסוף דבר בקדמתו, גומל לאיש חסד כמפעלו, נותן לרשע כרשעתו, ישלח לקץ ימין משיחנו, לפדות מחכה קץ Yeshuato, Metim Yechael, Berov Chasto, Baruch Adei Shem Tehilato, Metim Yechael, Berov Chasto, Baruch Adei Shem Tehilato. Well, we sure did get through that one.
That was so great. We don't get to do Yigdal.
No.
Well, Ashana Tova, Leshana Tova, Tichtevon V'Techatemu. May you have a beautiful prayer experience and be sealed for life and goodness this year. Good Shabbos, good Yom Tov, Shana Tova.
Nice job. Yes, go.
Shkoyach.